Hello and welcome to In the Pocket. My name's Jonny.
My name's Chris.
Two totally average bass players, and we're here to talk all about that bass. So as answering your questions at home, each week we take a look at the latest news, maybe break down some tones, and all to give you the lowdown on the low end. Oh my goodness, we're back, baby. We took a week off because I was away, basically. So this is... We could have been really mean or really nice to the people at home even, and, done one as soon as I was back. But, I feel like I'm only just getting over the jet lag, for God's sake.
I was going to say, that was... tell the nice people at home, tell the dear listeners where... That's a nice little reference to the Guitar Nerds podcast. Anyway, tell the nice people where you were and what did you get up to?
I did a great American road trip, baby. Started off in San Francisco and then spent like 5 days there, and then drove to Mariposa through Yosemite, then down into Death Valley, and then ending the last couple of days in Vegas. So about just under 2 weeks in America it was in the end, but ended up going to When We Were Young Festival, which is what the whole trip was kind of based around. Saw many good basses there. The first one I saw was a Gibson Grabber, and I was like, yes.
Ooh, I'm home.
Yes.
This is going to be a good weekend.
Yeah, right. Got to experience a... what did I do? I went to Guitar Center for the first time. And I thought that, this would... I don't know what I was expecting, really. I thought, this is going to be, mega. And it was big, but it was no bigger than, Birmingham, PMT,
Okay.
Big store, but, wasn't crazy. The bass section was good. Lots of used stuff there, which I didn't know that they did a lot of that, but they do. So it was a mix of new and used. So I tried all sorts of bits and bobs. And then I put up a video about it. And just sharing some of the things that I tried, and all the comments were like, "Oh my god, Guitar Center sucks!" You were so lucky to get something. Because there was a Stingray 5 special in a beautiful finish, and I thought, oh yeah, that's just a music shop, so they'll have that kind of stuff. And they were like, what? No, we've never seen anything worth over £700. I was like, what?
Oh, okay. And where was this Guitar Center? Was it in San Francisco?
That was San Francisco, yeah.
Right. And, maybe that's a good one, because not all PMTs are created equal as well. I found.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Well, just some are really tiny, some are really small, and then the Birmingham, I've never been to the Birmingham one, but I hear it's massive. The one in Manchester is really big. But their bass section is tucked into a corner as well. It's mostly most of that audio equipment, and keyboards and lots of PA.
Yeah.
I don't know why. And loads of Gibsons. So they're obviously not selling any of those. But yeah, I hear we don't have Guitar Center in the UK, so we would probably assume grass is greener on the other side. And then it's is Sweetwater a shop, or is Sweetwater just an online only thing?
Yeah, just an online, I believe.
Right. Okay, that makes a lot of sense now. I know that.
Sam Ash used to be a big one, but that's gone.
Oh, I've heard of that. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that's closed. Done.
Yeah.
So I don't know what the other ones are actually. The reply I kept getting from people was yeah, that's cool that you came over. Oh, I'd love to go to Anderton's in the UK.
I was going to say this. This is so interesting because Anderton's I do actually think Anderton's is a really nice guitar shop. However, it's not as big as you think it is.
It is tiny.
It's tiny.
Yeah.
It's big by town centre guitar shop standards. The guitar shop in Wigan, shout out Symphony Music, is not that much smaller, really.
Really?
No, it's not. They're pretty decent sized shop. They've got 3 floors, ground floors acoustic guitars, top floors electric guitars. It's still a small shop, but it's a tall shop. And then they've got drums and pianos and little bits of PA. But Anderton's is not that big. I think people think it's massive because they see the YouTube channel and they go, "Oh, they've got this huge filming room and stuff," and it's like, mate, that's half an hour away. That's not
not in the same building.
that's not in the same. That's not in the same building. I have. Have you been? You've been to Anderton's, haven't you?
Several times, yeah.
Okay, I've been once. Have you bought anything from there?
I have.
Physically in the shop, because I bought lots of stuff online. What have you bought from the shop? I've only ever bought one thing.
I bought what was it? It was my first dark glass pedal. We were playing at the Boiler Room, which is the venue like 10-minute walk away.
Okay.
We played there a couple of times, and we'd always go to Anderton's when we were there, because of course. I bought the dark glass B7K.
Regret selling that. I genuinely regret selling that.
Yeah, I kind of want a B3K.
I will get. No, I don't want a B3K. I want a B7K. I want the more EQ options, because there's a B3K in the Quad Cortex, so that's already there. But I'd love to have the. I'm really looking forward to whenever the plug-in will come into the unit, but we'll see. I don't know. Maybe I'll be 40 by then. Who knows? I bought one thing from Anderton's, and I'm scrambling through my brain to try and remember the name of it. It was the Decibel 11 power supply, which was like their version of the Voodoo Lab Pedal Power 2. But it had a few more extra things. I think I paid £180 for it. I have sold it. I don't own it anymore. And I sold it because I got the Quad Cortex and I needed more juice. Like the
tasty juice.
It was like the maximum outputs. It was like there was a load of 100 MA ones and a couple of 300s. So it would power the pretty decent sized pedal board I had at the time for it. I had like 2 Strymon pedals, Digitech whammy, wah pedal, a couple of drives, and that was fine. But once I moved into because the Quad Cortex needs something mad like 2,000 milliamps of power. It's a big digital unit. So the Chox DC7 had some little tricks you could do to maximize that output. So I had to sell it. But that's the only thing I've bought from Anderton's ever. I've been once, and it was about. I was still at uni, so it could be 9 years ago when I went.
I haven't been since they opened that whole like boutique room downstairs, with like the big room with all the fancy guitars.
That wasn't there. No,
this is tiny. What I liked about it though is that they had, I think it was 3 little rooms you could go and play things in. Like you could pick up a guitar, go into the soundproof room,
little tiny isolation booths.
Yeah, they're a really good idea.
That's a great.
Don't want to.
That's a great idea, because there's nothing more annoying than when you're like, you want to try something, or you're talking to someone at a guitar shop, and a couple of meters away, someone's trying out a guitar amp. And by someone, I mean some 19-year-old, I sound like an old man now, some 19-year-old has been given a bit of money for his birthday, and he wants to buy a 100-watt valve guitar amp. Yeah. And obviously, you've got to test it. You've got to check it works, because why would it not be broken? Yeah. So they've some Mesa Boogie or something, or a PV5150 or an EVH 100 watt amp at full volume.
Relentless chugs just in the background.
And it's just dun, 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 or just various Metallica riffs, which don't get me wrong, love Metallica. But do I want to hear Battery played badly? No. Anyway, if that is you, I am sorry. That used to be me. That was me. I was that guy. Yeah, that guy on 100-watt guitar amp.
Yeah, but, change that handle now.
Gonna change it now. Yeah, absolutely. But the isolation booths at Anderton's were very lovely.
An excellent idea.
What's the plan for today's episode? I realised we normally talk this through, and I've realised we've jumped on, press record, and I never asked you. So,
well, you've just ruined my segue.
Good.
That I was going to do.
You make it sound like these segues are good.
I know.
Speaking of podcasts,
yeah. Well, because I said, that's an excellent idea. Speaking of excellent ideas, you, the listeners at home, should go to Instagram at In the Pocket, where you can follow us, joint account for the podcast, where you can contribute to things like questions, things like guest suggestions, and just see all of the short form content that we are putting out. Big things coming soon. That's all we'll say. That's
It actually is as well. That's the cool thing. There are big things coming soon.
cool. Yeah, and we will endeavour to release them very soon. For today's episode, what we will be doing is just having a big old news catch up. I've got about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, about 15 tabs open right now of things that have happened. I feel like just as I went away, loads of stuff was announced, loads of stuff dropped, and I was like, cool. So
well, I get all of my gear news from you.
Yeah,
I don't look at anything else online. I literally go every couple of days. You'll send me something. I'll go, that's cool. That's not cool, and then we'll talk about it on a podcast. So I have no idea what. If you said to me what's come out in the last week, I'd be like, I've got no idea, mate. I live in a hole in the north of England. Like
you are the point of view character, that everyone's the underdog that everyone's rooting for. You're learning as the audience learns.
Yeah. Wow. I'm like that.
Oh my God.
That Instagram GIF that goes around, where it's like the puppet going,
oh, looking around. Huh. Now we're already designated to puppets already.
We are. Yeah, we are. We are Beaker and Dr. Bunsen.
Yeah. So no more, please.
That Halloween costume is going to slap when we eventually get that sorted.
Yes. So good. Oh,
Halloween special.
we did Halloween party this weekend and went as gravestones. It was
I did see
easy and so cheap.
One of my friends years ago, this must be when we were teenagers, went like viral on Facebook because do you remember the guy who went as a Facebook account?
Yes.
That was him. That was the guy in Wigan.
Oh, wow.
He came as his Facebook page.
Put Wigan on the map.
To an under-18s club night in Wigan.
Excellent.
To a club that is no longer here, RIP, Calf Nirvana, where I discovered all of my music taste. It was like an under-18s emo night every Wednesday or something like that.
God, that's what I needed in my life.
They didn't serve alcohol or anything like that because they just
maybe
obviously... Well, it was under-18s, we were all like 14 and 15. And I sat listening to like Teenagers by My Chemical Romance. And it was basically when we were young before when we were young.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because it was indeed when we were young.
But at the time, you were like,
at the time,
we are young.
Yes. What, the song by... forgot the name of the people.
We are fun.
Yeah, fun. Yeah, nothing fun about that song. No. Especially when you play it at a wedding. Oh my God, it's so
Jesus
boring.
Christ. And have we not had any better songs since, please?
No.
Let's go.
Clearly not. Anyway, I'm sorry.
Speaking of fun.
Speaking of fun. When are we having that?
Let's look at this latest bit of news. The first one is kind of an old one at the same time.
Punched my microphone, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I heard that. Just a spring ricocheting.
Sorry. Please continue.
Perhaps we should have
this is podcasting.
That's the news gong,
Oh, yeah, okay.
First bit of news.
Hang on.
Oh, God, it's creepy.
Ask not who the coffee news bell tolls for. It tolls for thee.
Dong. First bit of news comes from Harley Benton. We're starting things off in the more affordable side of things. They have introduced the brand new HB50 semi-hollow bass. Finally. This has been in the background of videos and just sat there ready to go for ages. I'm guessing it's gone through a bit of redevelopment hell a little bit. Some things have changed. Because this first appeared, we saw I think it was an orange one, which looked a little bit different to this, I suppose, in the background of it was Guitar Summit 2023. And they had it up there and they just said, oh, and that's that coming soon. And they didn't really talk about it after that. But now it's properly released. So there we go. It's 22 frets, single humbucker, passive on a semi-hollow. Looks strange. It's kind of like a very modern looking pickup, on this very vintage looking instrument. So that is a bit odd, but it comes in these two colors, this kind of dirty orange look, which I think looks quite nice. A bit like it reminds me of what the side panels of a Les Paul would be like, Yeah,
it's a nice dirty blonde.
Yes. It's vintage orange, actually. and then
We're
this
cutting
cherry
that for
red.
a reel, by the way. We're cutting that for a reel.
Looks at camera.
Yeah.
Nice.
Nice.
Yeah, here it is. It's got a switch on it. You might be thinking, hey, Johnny, what does that switch do? I'm pretty sure it means you can switch which magnets you have. So in the back position is just the back one, in the middle is both, and then on the right is one. I think for a passive humbucking bass, that's really cool. Then you've just got master tone, master volume.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty good. It's not a short scale. It is full scale.
I was going to ask about that. Yeah, I would have thought this screams 30
Mm.
inches.
Yes, just like me. But no, they've not done it. I think their old their old semi-hollow was a short scale. So interesting choice to not do it here. But, I'm sure it's good either way. That fretboard material's back. Amaranth. No, amaranth. Amaranth. That is right.
Amaranth, yeah.
Amaranth. Nice. It's back. What do you think of these?
You know what? Overall, I like it. Overall, I think when I first saw it, I thought this looks like someone's photoshopped bass features onto a guitar. The choice of humbucker is a wild choice, I think, for like a semi-hollow. I expected, put like a P-style pickup in this and shove it all the way up near the neck. Go way too far. Because this looks like Peter Hook as a signature model.
Yeah, that's right by the bridge, though, isn't it?
By someone. Yes, it is. I'm sorry. Yeah, it's by the bridge. It's a reverse P, and I think it's all the way at the back near the bridge, and it's quite a look. But yeah, it'd be interesting to sort of hear how this sounds and all that, with it being like, because semi-hollow you don't really associate with like big rock sound.
No.
But then humbucker you do associate with big rock sounds. So it's like, what is this going for, if you know what I mean?
Yeah, I would be really interested to hear this, because we've heard kind of humbucker style pickups with this before, but not like this big Music Man, big ceramic magnets on there before. So yeah, I would be interested to hear what this sounds like. Be cool. I've heard one video of one guy like plinking away. And it sounded good, to be fair. Like, it didn't sound bad at all. But for me, it was just like, yeah, it's nice to have the different magnets to choose between, but actually just the middle one sounded the best.
I was going to say, there's not going to be a lot of tonal variation between this.
You'd be surprised.
Like half an inch to the left and half an inch to the right. And I know what you're going to say, half an inch makes all the difference. Come on. We've done a lot of episodes.
I don't understand what you mean. Can you explain
never mind.
Thank you.
I was about to say I live in your head, and then you could have made a joke about that. But anyway, nice to see the Amaranth finish back. Link in bio. That's a joke. There is no link in bio. It's all right. Yeah, I don't want one.
No, I'm kind of the same. It's $222, so
that's
very cheap, pretty. Yeah, good price. It's not the cheapest Harley Benton, but it's a bit more specialized. So that's where we're going to be.
Yeah,
Shall we?
I think it's fine. Yeah.
Fine. A glowing review from Chris Horrocks.
Yes.
Let's move on to the fabulous folks over at Court.
All right, one down, 14 to go. Let's go.
Yeah, woo! Court have revealed the GB Fusion bass series and these crazy finishes. The GB is like a development on from their GB Modern series. So it's basically an active jazz bass, which is very, very cool. In these, like I said, crazy finishes. I want to know what they're called, these finishes, because they're probably some wild name. Comes in a 4 and a 5, $700 for the 4, and then $8 for $9 for the 5. Yeah. Beastly string through the body, 5-net construction, hip shot tuners. It's got like, it's spec'd out like if this was made in America, this would be like maybe a £1,700 bass, I would say. But of course, because it's made in the Cortec factory in Indonesia, under their own brand, it's about $700. So yeah, pretty cool. It doesn't say in this article the names of the colors, which disappoints me a lot. Oh, it does. Oh, the blue is called Blue Burst. That is so disappointing. I thought it was going to be like ocean turquoise explosion or something, something really crazy, but no. What do you think about these? Oh, you're muted. He thinks...
For God's sake.
Unmutes and coughs.
Oh. I told you this is broadcasting. You know what I had, and you know what I dropped. I dropped some really funny lines then as well.
Did you? Did you? Some absolute corkers. Oh.
Yeah, and I can't remember any of them. We were talking about the colours, and I said this could have been called like Laguna Swirl.
Yeah, I wondered why there was just like nothing, no response. I was like, oh.
And this brown one could be like Fresh Turd or something like that. But the brown one looks all right. It's brown. The blue one is far nicer. These look all right, I was going to say. If you're after, like... I think you've got... do we have a price, did you say? This is about 800 quid?
Yes, $700. So
I think let's say you've got $700. If you've got $700 and you are specifically after a jazz bass, there's a lot in that market, and these look really good. They like... the blue is so much nicer than that brownie orange one, I think. Although
I wish this had the maple.
I was about to say I like a maple coloured neck.
Yeah,
a lighter neck.
Yeah,
because in that 700 quid, I mean, a little bit more is going to put you in Player 2 territory from Fender. Obviously, you can buy pretty much anything by Sire, and you'll still be under that 700 quid. But if these like sound good and play good, I think these could be a winner because, like I said, they look fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely.
Can't really complain there at all, really.
I'm going to do that thing now.
Go on.
Here it is.
Oh, when did this arrive?
I sent you a picture of this. This is...
whoops.
Got this one into review, so I knew about these a little bit before they were kind of announced. Can confirm, spoiler for my review that will come out, lovely. Really, really nice overall. Like, the neck is stunning. It's just totally specced out, I would say it sounds amazing. The DI, like the preamp, is so smooth and just really, really nice overall. Yeah, it's a winner. It's a winner.
It's
quite low output though.
When you next get in your car and drive somewhere that I'm not willing to explain yet, maybe that could come with you.
Maybe.
Maybe one evening something could be filmed, perhaps with a bass or maybe
ridiculous.
A couple of pedals. Just let me.
I hate to do this.
Scrounge your YouTube channel off mine, thank you.
I hate to do this. A pedal has just turned up at my door.
Are you kidding me? Oh my God. We're not cutting this. Well, we're not cutting this, so I'm just going to sit and kill some time. This is Dead Air. Hope you're well, dear listener. Would you listen to these? Do you listen to them in the car? Do you listen to them at the gym? Do you listen to them at work or in the morning when you're having something to eat? Do you only watch this episode? Do you only listen to the episode? Let us know. For no reason other than my own curiosity. And he's back. Anyway, hello. And the headphones are on.
Hello. We're back.
How was that?
That was good.
Ta-da. What is it?
I'm not actually allowed to say.
No. Oh, I know. I've worked out what it is. Is it what I think? Is it what I think it is?
No, it's not.
Is it not that?
It's not that would be a lot bigger parcel than this.
Oh, okay. Can you text it to me? Or have you signed something?
Yeah, I cannot say.
Ooh, NDA.
Well, no, I've not signed anything. No?
So. Okay. So why can't you text me now and say what it is?
All right, I'll text you.
Okay, right. I'm going to hold my phone to the camera.
It's not that exciting.
Okay. Well, I've got my phone open because I just want to know. And my phone's just frozen. Oh, no, it's not. I'm just an idiot. All right, here we go. Live reaction of my face because the ready?
Oh, I spelt it wrong.
You did. Interesting. Okay.
Not announced yet.
Do you want the nice reaction or the genuine reaction?
I would like the genuine.
Couldn't care less.
Yeah.
Yeah. In the words of our best mate, and he's not my best mate. In the words of Nigel, boring.
Your best mate. Bloody hell.
You know, nearly.
Wow.
Oh God.
Wow.
I think they nearly got in round here, by the way. Just to clarify.
Woof.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of boring, should we move on?
Yes. Boring.
Boring. Right, more bass, please. That's what we want. Okay, this is a biggie. This is what was being teased for what felt like an age, and
I'm ready.
I got it right. What it was going to be, kind of. I thought it was going to be something a bit newer, but it's not. The Fender Ultra 2 American range has been announced.
Inject this into me.
Get it in my veins. That finish is insane, right?
Beat me round the head with this. Yes, please.
So
sorry, got a bit carried away there.
Quite all right. No worries. So Fender for a while have been teasing like, oh, it's coming, like the ultimate guitar experience, like this is the pinnacle of design.
It's coming, and so was their marketing team when they wrote this.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, they have redone the bit like what they did with the Player lineup and did the Player 2. The top of the range, American range, has now had the same facelift with a couple of extra features, that being the Ultra 2 lineup. For this, we have got a P bass, a jazz bass, and first ever in the American range, the Meteora. Man, that finish on the Meteora is so good, so cool. I think it's called like Cosmic something, is it?
Cosmic, famously named after the second best Linkin Park album. That's not why it's called that.
Okay.
Would be funny if it was, though. Anyway,
yeah.
Please, Mr. Marketing Man, continue.
These are they are priced between $2,200 and $2,400.
I'm less excited now.
Yeah, oh no. But these are the full, bells and whistles basses with the noises pickups, with just every spec you could want, basically, string through. They have got that 19-volt preamp, so it's a powerful boy. Which I don't love, but it is what it is. We're going through some sexy pictures. Why are these all in black and white? There we go. That's better. And interestingly, like they've got these new pick guards on here, but they're like single ply. Like they've got like the white border on them, which I think makes them look a bit cheap. I've said it.
Makes them look cheaper.
Yes, for sure. So look at the spec list quickly. We've got quarter sawn maple neck, older body, of course. Nothing new here. This is just for the P bass. Sorry, should I say? It's every single one of these is active. You're not getting any passive ones in the Ultra range. It is like you can put it into passive. You can put it in passive mode. But the point of it is that it's all like fully like everything you could want, all in one. So I think the American Professional is what you want if you want the passive ones, like their top passive ones. But yeah, that's it pretty much. I think they've got lumen lay side dots. Yes, they do.
Very nice.
And the D-shaped necks, which is cool. And yeah, a load of new finishes. What annoys me about Fender, though, is that sometimes a solar flare, that's what the finish is called.
Sinister red.
Sometimes what they will do is release guitars and not release every single one in every finish. And that kind of annoys me when you're like, oh, I would love the jazz bass in this. Oh, they don't do the jazz bass in that. Why not? They've done that with quite a lot of models, and that annoys me a bit. Because I'm sure some people would really want that kind of thing. I'm just going to head over to Fender's website, just make sure I've got something right about these, and so we can check out the finishes as well. But yeah, what are your thoughts? What did you think they were going to release?
You mean, what do you mean by what do you think? What do I think they were going to release?
Because they were teasing this for a little while, being like, "Oh, it's coming. Oh, what's it going to be?" Ooh. And
I didn't give it much thought, to be honest.
No.
I just thought this could be anything. But no, these are. I mean, the Meteora is the best one. I think it's the best one. I do wish it. I'm just not interested in active basses really at the moment, like at all. I'm just not bothered. I'd love to see a passive Meteora. I'm saying a lot today. I've noticed. Is this the one where the Meteora has that tobacco style sunburst? That
yes, you shared it on your story. Yes, it is.
Because that is so nice, and it had the sort of like goldish. That one, oh my lord, that's so nice.
See, I don't think
you're wrong. Wrong.
This is too amber, too gold. Like if this was darker in person, I bet this is a lot nicer than these pictures.
I bet it's a lot darker in person. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't understand. The clearly people who can take photos get hired to take these product shots.
Yeah.
Why almost no company does this right? They're almost never good.
Do you know who does it the best? Thomann.
Interesting.
It's because they take it on a black background and they get really good angles and stuff. And even like their super affordable instruments like Harley Bentons look great in the pictures, which is crazy to me. So I don't remember the Meteora having this when I had the Mexican one. This kind of
the cutaway.
The cutaway
sort of
there.
Easy sort of comfort
yeah.
bit.
Yeah, which looks great on this. Amazing.
It does look very good.
Yeah. They also do it in the Texas T finish, which I think is very nice. Big fan of Texas T. They've done that. They've done the jazz bass. So they've done it in a 4 and a 5 string. They've done that thing where the 5 string only comes in 3 colors and the 4 string comes in 4 colors. I know why. It's because this one will inherently be less popular.
Well, yeah, and also the 5 string should come in 5 colors.
Yes. Well, of course.
That's how it works.
That's sinister red.
There's nothing sinister about that red.
No. It should have been a dark red. Like
is that not just like candy apple red?
100%.
Yeah.
Well, it's probably just got like a sparkle to it, They should have done that in like a burgundy or dark red. That would have been so good.
That's the least sinister bass I think I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Ever.
Yeah.
That screams corporate wedding gig.
Oh, I love it. I like
that one.
White,
that one's
silver.
Nice. It was the red one I meant. The red one just screams, I work in finance, I've actually got loads of money, and then on Friday nights and Saturday nights I play in a wedding band. So basically I'm absolutely minted.
Yeah. And then the P bass, just to show off the blue finish there as well.
I wonder why it had to be a PJ for the P. Why could it not be a P?
Because I think active Ps not amazing. Like I'd rather have a PJ if I'm going to have a preamp in there, and I think that they just want as much as possible in here.
I think it's more that it's like we're charging loads of money, so we're going to just shove as much stuff.
And this is meant to be the pinnacle, or like this is meant to be the best of the best, so it must have the J in there as well because that's the best. But yeah. I don't rate the blue much.
Nah, the blue's quite boring, I think.
Yeah. I think they could have got I like the Texas T, I like the Avalanche. I don't mind the this one. See, that doesn't look as good as your bass.
No, it really doesn't, does it? I wonder if that's photography or it just genuinely doesn't look as good as mine. Because mine looks great. And it's a really similar colour palette.
Yeah, I think it's a mix. And like honestly, the J pickup makes so much difference in terms of how that looks. Because I think it makes it look a lot. Oh, it looks better.
Yeah, when I hold my finger over it, I think that looks so much nicer.
Yeah.
I just think I'm starting to think PJs are a bit ugly,
I think they're quite ugly. I don't mind it. I think P's look better. I think my PJ looks nice. But yeah, I do know what you mean. If it's like a standard bass, then
it's got to be a little bit like the bass itself has got to look a little bit different as well to sort of complement the PJ. Whereas if it's just a P bass and they've shoved a J pickup in it as well, it's like Uncanny Valley. It looks like AI made it.
I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's all right. That white one's pretty cool.
Yeah, I think it is pretty cool.
Yeah.
I'm going to keep it in the world of Fender now. And we're going to have a look at something that's been a long time coming. And that is finally the Mark Hoppus Jaguar bass. Whoa!
Oh, and I was about to say, could we pause for a second so I could nip to the loo? But then you brought this up.
This Hoppus over poo, Hoppus over ploppus. Okay.
Thank you so much for that.
So here we go. It's here. We've seen iterations of the jazz precision bass before, but now I feel like it's finally all come together. He's been playing this Jaguar for ages, or like custom versions of Jaguars, and so to now have it as a proper signature model, I think is fantastic. Obviously, Mark Hoppus is the bass player of Blink-182. We were saying about, I know, Blink-182, sorry. And we were talking earlier about reverse precision bass pickups. This is something that Mark Hoppus has now been quite well renowned for in the past couple of years. As you know, he does use a lot of the D and the G strings and doing chords, etc., in lots of songs. So this, to give those the treble side, a bit more of a lower end boost, I think this makes total sense. It does look a bit like AI has made it when it's reversed.
It does look a bit odd, but it's still really nice though. The matching headstock's great as well on that seafoam green style one.
Yeah, 100%. I think that both really nice iterations, a bit more of a classic version, and then the full, like Blink version, and he's had this seafoam green and the pearloid combo for years. I think it's fantastic to finally see it. I'm glad that they went with the Jaguar for it as well. I'm pretty sure they're quarter pounders, aren't they? For
they
Mark
are.
Hoppus?
Yeah.
Let's just confirm that. Yes, it is. To give you that kind of signature mid-range punch that he has. I recommend going and watching the video here with Brian Robert Jones demoing it, because he's an amazing bass player. Sounds great. He's actually the current touring guitarist for Paramore, but he recorded all the bass on the latest album.
Interesting. I did not know that.
Yep, and you can hear it in the playing of this video. Like he's really good. So, how much is this? It is $1,400. So, yeah, it's that thing again of Mexican-made artist model in
American
being around with around $1,400, like all the other ones that we've seen recently. Which I still think they need to bring back the Squires. Like, let's go! Imagine this as a Squire.
They need a thing underneath that. £1,400 is very. Is a lot of money, full stop, and very unsustainable for like a normal person if who just wants this because they like Blink-182.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And it gives you that sound, But there we go. Yeah, I think this is great. I think it's positive. I have no complaints about it, really. It is what it is, Shall we move on to the next thing and let you go to the toilet?
Yes.
So, we're going to stick things. We're going to keep things in Fender world now, but move on to the pedals section of the podcast of the news, because they have announced out of the blue some new bass pedals. What? They did something for us. This is the full range of Fender Bassman pedals. Ignore the Downtown Express that's made its way into here. We have
just say bass on it.
It does say bass on it, yes, but we don't care about this.
Yeah,
screw you.
Yeah,
I'll screw you downtown.
I'm sure. Wow, I'm sure that's a fine pedal, but for today,
I don't like it. I've reviewed it.
Did you used to have one?
Yeah, I reviewed it. I thought it was pretty bad.
Not a fan.
Not gonna lie.
Okay.
No, not a fan.
Oh well.
Oh well. But I
Boring.
am a fan of the look of these new pedals. Look at these. We've got a compressor, of reverb, a delay, a driver, and a fuzz. So some ones, that you'd kind of expect, and some that you wouldn't expect, which is cool. I'm going to head straight into the driver first, just so we can have a bit of a closer look and controls, etc. Yes, I'm in the UK. Thank you. Not Belgium.
Only two options, by the way, just like to
Yeah.
clarify. You're either in, God, Brexit has driven us all mad. You're either in the UK or you're in bloody Belgium.
Ugh,
Nowhere else
nothing.
exists.
Get out. So this is cool, isn't it?
It
We'll also
is.
see some new stuff from Fender. I like the design of these. It kind of, the knobs on them kind of remind me of like a Bassman head.
Funny that.
And that kind of look. I know.
It's
funny.
almost. It's I'm going to go out on a whim here.
Stop it.
Just free balling. It's almost as if that was intentional.
Wow.
Love that.
Wow.
Peak journalism from Jonny Dibble. I'll tell you what, guys.
Yeah.
The design of this Bassman pedal really does look like a Fender Bassman.
Yeah, they've really thought about this. So props to them.
I'm sorry. I've had a coffee. I think I'm hard now.
So yeah, pretty cool. We've got level, gain, blend. I'm already happy. I've had things gain pedals without level or without blend on before, and especially the blend. And then we've got a voice switch and a mid switch. I'm guessing it either just gives you, it's like scoop or boost. And then the voice one is probably just like a bite switch, like on a
I think it
a
does
dark
say
pedal.
Yeah, I think it does say what those do specifically. Yeah, I mean this is almost like a similar template to something like the B3K. But this is kind of like the bare minimum I would want from like a bass drive pedal. I want the drive.
Yes.
I want the overall level, and I want a blend.
Yeah.
If it doesn't have those things, I think it's really bad. Like there's a problem with especially things like the blend control.
Yeah,
For
absolutely.
what we need to do. Yeah.
Absolutely. So I'm going to read a little bit of this. 2 switches, a foot switch. Yeah, no shit.
Wow.
Thank you, Fender.
What was the word count you needed to hit on this one?
Yeah, right. Okay, here we go. And every single drive pedal says this in the copy. Varying gain from light tube-like breakup to high gain chunk.
It's always that. Or the
From this
high
to
gain
this.
insanity.
Yeah. Okay. So it's got the JFET circuitry in there, and dynamic clipping stages, blah, blah, blah. So it's meant to be more like a tube amp. So it's a vintage sound. So control wise, it's like the B3K, but you're not going to get those kind of more modern metal tones out of this. The Fender aren't known for that anyway. Flick the voice switch. Flick the voice switch into the up position to kick an additional layer of clipping and heavy modern distortion.
Yeah,
okay.
okay.
So the voice is like a vintage modern thing. Okay,
Yeah,
interesting.
Yeah, you'll probably find like the voice shifts from like a mid kind of push to like a more distorted higher end, probably.
Yeah.
And then just more gain is pushed into the pedal.
100%. Blah, blah, blah. Sculpt your tone further with using the mid switch, offering 2 dialed levels of growl. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, yeah, I'm super interested to try this one in particular. I know I love a drive pedal, and for £95, great price, really, really good.
Very good price. Like we see so many things now that like we talk about stuff and we go, it's £200, it's £200, it's £200. So for this to be like the price of like I remember being a teenager and being like, I'd have to save up for a couple of months to buy like one MXR pedal and one Boss pedal. And they were in this. Don't forget to confirm your location. They were in that sort of price range. Like I remember saving up and buying, like the Zakk Wylde Overdrive when I was a teenager, and that was like £80. So it's good that they're in these price ranges, so that actual, the normal person can afford them. Really,
Yeah.
I'm interested in the fuzz. And I like how there's a reverb. That's cool.
Yeah, delay and reverb isn't ones that I was really expecting from this. So
that's a really cool purple.
Yeah, That is definitely cool. I know that's why you like it. So we've
Yeah.
got a voice one with this again, same controls, but a focus switch as well.
Ooh. This is the Mace Windu fuzz pedal.
Yes, wow, I love it. Bass window.
Bass Windu says motherfucker on the side.
Yeah, bad motherfucker.
That's the one.
So the voice switch selects between compressed vintage fuzz or touch sensitive modern fuzz. So I'm guessing that's more like a gated kind of sound, maybe.
Yeah, you'll probably get that like spitty sound you can get from fuzzes,
which I don't love.
No, it's definitely got an application, but it's not an application I ever seem to need to use. Like I want, the only ever fuzz sound I really want is I just want this like really thick, but like at the same time like kind of dark sound. That's different to drive, where I'm like I want an increase in mid range and I want to push through a little bit more than I would on different things. Whereas fuzz, I want like just big thick sound that sort of comes underneath everything and pushes through. Or I like using fuzz for bits of songs where it's just me playing. So it doesn't really matter that there's a big mid scoop or there's a loss in high mids or whatever, and the my presence in the mix has dipped because I'm just playing with me and drums, and it's just a bit of a texture thing. But it's cool. This I like the look of a lot of these. Is there a chorus?
There is not a chorus. That's one that I feel like is missing. It could have been.
We need more bass chorus.
Yeah, well, we've got a lot on the market, but like, it's strange that Fender didn't really do one here. I suppose.
No,
are they really? Do they have any kind of modulation effects pedals? I don't know. They've done before.
No,
we've got the compressor, which is very basic compressor. So I think that will be good. But yeah,
I think basic for compression is good. Like I get a bit too bogged down in setting like using compressors on like the Quad Cortex, for example, because it gives you everything, which is great. You got tack, release, ratio. You got the threshold, you've got the makeup gain, and then you've got an output, and then you've got metering, and that is all brilliant. But sometimes it's like I just want to turn it on, and do I want less compression or more compression? Because I really liked on not even that old, the Dark Glass Adam, its compression function was just you turned one dial and you got more compression. It did all the auto leveling for you in the pedal, so you never lost any volume or gained any volume. It kept that unison for you, and then there was a second button which would do the ratio. So it was like more or less like aggression, stuff like that. Can you hear my fire alarm going off?
I can.
Great. Well, that's stopped now, so that's good. Anyway, moving on.
You're going to love this. Internal attack and release controls.
Oh, no. No. Who's been talking to Dark Glass? No.
Oh, dear. Because I was trying to look at what RLS means, release, I suppose.
Yeah.
And like, that's the only thing that annoys me sometimes with controls like this.
You can only click the ratio.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm like, what?
That must be 4-1 or like 12-1. That kind of thing. Like,
I'm assuming. But like, which is which, I don't know.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, which is which.
That annoys me on pedals. Unless it's like on, off, I don't know. Anyway, I'm very excited to hear what these sound like. I think it's very cool.
Me too.
Yes. Chris, I might hand over to you to talk about this next one because I think you probably know a little bit more about how this works, etc. Because you've got a little bit more experience with this type of thing. And you'll be like, have we not spoken about this? Because this is actually, or have we spoken about this?
Okay.
We might have spoken about this already. I can't remember talking about it, but I was looking at news and I was like, have we spoken about the Nano Cortex?
Oh, okay. No, on the podcast, no, we haven't.
No,
it's been out for a month. I think we just missed it.
So, would you like to tell the people what this is essentially?
Not really, no. Yeah, no, I will. Oh, excuse me. So, essentially, this is almost like there's a couple of different ways you can spin this, and I'll get to how I think the best way to describe it is in a second. because I watched a lot of YouTube reviews on this, because the Quad Cortex is a really comprehensive piece of kit. Like, it does a lot, and it's not very big. It's not as big as you think it is. But I guess what they wanted to do was they wanted to release something that sort of sat in a more portable package, maybe a bit more pedal board friendly. And I think initially they wanted something that would take on the HX Stomp. And this doesn't do that. If it's meant to compete with the HX Stomp, I think it's a massive failure. But I don't think that's the best way to look at this. So this was sort of spun as like a smaller, simplified, more compact version of the big Quad Cortex unit. And you've got a fixed signal path. I think what you've got, if I remember correctly, you've got one block at the start, and I think that only has a few limited functions. If you want to check on the page, Johnny, I think it only does something like transpose and maybe something else, and that's like pedal in air quotes block 1.
Yeah, so noise gate?
Noise gate and transpose. I think those are the two.
Yeah.
You can't have both. It's one or the other. Then you've got, or maybe it is both. I don't know. I can't remember. Please don't quote me on this. Then you've got one capture block. So one capture. And the interesting thing is a capture really can be anything. So it's easy to look at a capture and go, well, that's just the guitar amp, or that's just the bass amp. But all the capture is doing is taking everything you present to the Quad Cortex and capturing that into one block. So what you could do is you could capture, I don't know, an Ampeg SVT, and that's one. But then also you could do another capture of an Ampeg SVT with an EQ pedal in front of it, and then like a Rat or something like that. Do a capture. That is still one capture. That's one thing. It's just taking a snapshot of the signal chain you present to it. So you get your capture block, then you get an IR loader, so an IR block. And then after that, you get, I believe it's 2 post effects blocks, which basically your only options are delay and reverb. And I think maybe you get some modulation. I think you get some modulation. Again, I might be wrong. I haven't looked at this too often because this doesn't really appeal to me, because I only have one specific use for it, which I'll get to in a minute. Yeah. So yeah, it's a fixed signal chain. And then when I was looking at some reviews of this, basically, if you use it to like take on the HX Stomp or the smaller version of the Kemper that you can get now, the really small one, or something like a bit like the Tone X, it actually sits closer to a Tone X, but we'll get to that in a second as well. The HX Stomp batters it, in my opinion, in every single way. But where this really shines is, and now I think you should approach this, is this is a portable capture device. So you can take this in a backpack and you can just set up whatever you need to do and capture that. You can do all the capturing inside the unit and you're good to go. So that's where I think its real strength is. You could go to a studio, let's say you're someone who owns a lot of amps and you do a lot of recording, you go, well, I want this, and this. I'll capture that and then take that with me in this small package, which is how I would use it. Like how I would use it, again, because like I said, I don't really need this. But if I had a lot of fly gigs, like if I was looking at a year's worth of flying around and, I don't know, like a cruise gig or, lots of super portable things, I think what I would do is I would make one preset that sort of does everything I need, capture everything I need. Because again, you could capture your bass amp clean and then your bass amp with a drive pedal in it, and then use the foot switches to jump between those. And the preset switching on this is way faster than the Quad Cortex. So in the Quad Cortex, you can jump between stomp modes where you're turning individual things on and off. You can use scene mode, which is like snapshots in the HX Stomp where you have, got this pedal on set like that, and then I've got the amp like this. You save all that, and then you go on to your next scene, and it's like, I've turned this pedal off, I've turned the mids down on the amp, and I've turned the volume up on the delay. All those kind of things. You can do that. If you go into preset mode where you're jumping through actual presets of stuff, there is a slight drop for like a millisecond where the audio cuts as the next one loads up. So Neuro DSP have said since day one, don't use it like that. Use it using the scene mode. And it's more than powerful enough to stick everything you need on one preset and use scenes to jump between it. This, you can jump between presets because of the fixed signal chain, and there's less stuff going on in the unit.
Yeah.
So that's kind of an overview of what it is. Again,
Nice.
I currently do not need this. It's very cool. Like if I was sent one, I would use it and I would find uses for it. But I don't need to buy one. And in the reviews, the transpose is quite a lot worse than the transpose in the bigger unit.
I don't understand how that happens.
I think it's because there's sort of less power in the Nano Cortex. Because the transpose function on all the plugins is amazing. The transpose in the Quad Cortex is amazing. I use it. My wedding preset has a transpose block at the front of the chain because I'm constantly being told last minute, oh yeah, we're playing that step down, or we're playing that semitone down. And I'm told like just before the song. Like sometimes I'm told, and these are songs with like ultra specific bass lines, that have like actual parts that you should be playing. And I'll be told, oh no, we're doing that in G instead of A. I'm like, crap. So now I just hit the transpose button, drop it down in tone and go, right, I can still play the part. It sounds great. Whereas otherwise you would have to jump up and down and try and do some gymnastics to try and work out, how do I play this song that has open string
and when
bass
so much
parts
of it
in
is muscle memory, you're like, oh.
Yeah, exactly. So that's a great tool, but apparently it doesn't work as well in the Nano Cortex.
Well, I would be interested to see.
I was just going to say this heavily relies on using the app.
Yes, of
they
course.
want you to use
no
app
screen
because there's no screen, obviously.
I have two things to say. I think it's interesting, or I've not seen it being used when capturing like a full, because like what you said, having your amp clean and then a dirty version of it is what I would probably use this for if I had it. So I'm thinking like, how does that look when you capture it with and without the drive? Is that then this is one block, or like this is the capture, the amp, and then you capture a pedal? Is that how it's kind of working, or would you then just switch between the scenes?
So the difference is how you would use this, how you would do what you described in the Quad Cortex is not how you do it in the Nano Cortex, because what you could just do is, or me, like I've captured my Rootmaster, I've captured my RM500 because I want to start using it more on wedding gigs and stuff like that. But I want the excuse me. I don't always want to take the amp with me, but I want that sound. Like I like the sound of the amp. So what I've done is I've captured just the amp with the cab sim on. Gone into the front of the amp, out of the DI. That's what you're hearing.
Yeah.
Everything at 12, shape engaged, 10-inch cab sim on. Job done. You could do that, and then what I could do with my Quad Cortex is I could capture, I don't know, the Ashdown triple shot or something like that. I could capture that pedal, set how I like it, and then just turn that on and off, and that would feed in. So one capture, which is a pedal, and a second capture, which is an amp, and you just turn them on and off.
So I wonder how many captures can you how many captures can you have?
One in this. So what you would have to do instead, because remember, this has pre-effects, a capture, a cab IR, which you could choose to use or not, use or don't, and then a post effects. So what you would have to do, if you wanted to do that, you would capture your Rootmaster on clean, again, that's capture number one, and then you would make a new capture, which is the triple shot on and the amp on, and you would capture that signal chain again. So you'd have the Rootmaster with a pedal in front of it and the Rootmaster without a pedal in front of it. Then you would swap between presets in the Nano Cortex.
I see.
And because, like I said, it's designed to work that way, you would have the seamless transition between the clean capture, the distorted capture, the clean capture, the distorted capture. I can't do it that way in the Quad Cortex because swapping between presets affects the volume and stuff like that. It doesn't. That's not the recommended workflow.
So what I don't like about that,
go on.
What I don't like is that, say I'm in the room, or like my strings are dead for this gig, a bit.
Oh, you can't change them. Yeah, that's
it.
No.
And I'm like, I can't change the settings.
No.
And like, even if you could, you'd have to change it on both.
Yeah.
So
that's why, that's why I'm only doing that in the Quad Cortex now, because where I've got it set is where I'm happy with, basically. So it's like for weddings, the bass tone is the bass tone. Like I'm not going to be changing it. It's just fine.
Yeah.
Or if you're recording and things like that. So yeah, it's got a use. It's not too expensive either. It's about £500-600.
Yeah, £500, which I think is for what it is. And like you said, even if you were just using it as this is just a capturing device, you can't even use this live. It's just a capturing device. It's almost not that bad. Like, I don't know if anyone else does that kind of thing. So I think price wise, it's not too bad. The only other thing that's
I could absolutely find a use for it. The only reason I'm not buying one, well, the main reason I'm not buying one is I don't have that excess income to buy something like this with, and I've already got the big unit.
Yeah, so why?
I'm just going to suffer and go, well, I'll just take the big unit around with me. Like when I flew to Turkey for that gig back in May, owning something like this would be ideal because I would have just taken this in the backpack and off I went. However, and it has a tuner. It has a tuner and stuff built into it, which is pretty good. I just wish it had an option to put a compressor in that first block.
Yeah,
because I could then get away with everything.
Yeah, the fixed signal chain. That's it. Is I was surprised about that. I was like, really? Because the HX Stomp is so flexible. I was like, oh. The other thing,
it's just not the same. Obviously, it must be because having the captures and moving between the captures must take up so much like RAM, basically, that they can't afford to have an option for you to drop the vintage microtubes in, or a capture of a fuzz, or chorus pre or post amp, all these kind of things. Obviously just can't handle it.
Yeah. The other thing, it's better than the HX Stomp in a way because it's got a DI out, which the HX Stomp does not, but it's on the wrong side.
Oh no, it is, isn't it? Oh.
Like if your signal chain, most people are going to have this at the end of their chain, right? If it's pretty much mostly being an amp. So why is it on that side?
What an absolute oversight that is.
Yeah, big time. If you've got it on your pedal board, you have to have it on the right-hand side.
Also, I can't talk about this without mentioning
the video.
The way they unveiled this product is the worst product unveiling video or marketing material I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And I think they should be ashamed of themselves for what they did. They basically, they tried to waste my time for an hour because they brought out 2 30-minute... They split a short film into 2. And it was this long, drawn-out, silly video, basically, ultimately concluding with the unveiling of this product. And I watched the first, and because I've watched Neuro's DSP long form content before, they do like big comprehensive breakdowns of plugins that are like an hour long or more, and they're absolutely fantastic. They're genuinely super useful, and I think that's great. But they did this, and they wasted half an hour of my time, and then ended me on a stupid cliffhanger where I still didn't know what it was going to be or what it was. I can't remember the plot because there wasn't one. And it was almost like they've gone, should we do like an Edgar Wright movie in the style of this?
Yeah.
And it just didn't work. The comments section of the video were just, basically, I think it was like they were I think it was insulting to the customer base because they basically, it was almost like they said, you idiots will sit through anything, won't you?
You love what we do.
Yeah, and I think it really didn't sit well with me. And I didn't watch the second half. I just didn't think it was necessary. They obviously got a lot of views out of it. And
that's the thing. It's like, was that the idea? Because it was so...
exactly. And we're talking about it right now. So it clearly, from a marketing perspective, it clearly did it right.
Yeah, but it got it off branding wise on the wrong foot.
I came out of the marketing funnel annoyed at the product and annoyed at the company. Which is not obvious. Having watched every episode of Mad Men several times, I can tell you, Don Draper would never approve of this. So, but apart from the actual product, I think there's some good uses to this. I'm not getting one because I don't need one. If you guys want to send me one,
Oh,
I'm not going to say no, but I have just slagged you off for 20 minutes. So,
we'll see.
swings and roundabouts, innit?
Yeah. You know, we'll keep it in a similar place now with, Dark Glass sidestepping from, with Neuro DSP, because they've released a new pedal as well. I didn't see this one coming, really. We've got the Luminal Booster Ultra. So this is like in their Ultra range where they have the 2-foot switch ones with the knobs and the graphic EQ on here. But this is just basically a clean boost, I suppose, harmonic booster. So what's the other word for this? A sonic maximizer. Yes.
Wow.
I know. Big words, buzzwords.
And a compressor as well.
Yes. Yeah. Single knob as well. Nice. I'll be honest, I don't know what all of these knobs do. I mean, there's some EQing, option frequency range selecting, I'm guessing that's happening here. I do not know what these two do, though, so I'm going to find out. But essentially, what these do is gives you a super punchy, clean sound. I used to use the BBE Sonic Stomp, which is a sonic maximizer, and I loved that for a long time. Eventually, I got rid of it and I moved into a more like darker tone for a little bit, so didn't really want it. But I saw it as like a string life giver. You'd put it on and you'd be like, ta-da, strings are good again, because it added so much. It was basically like a 2-band EQ, but it added like glass to the sound, I'd say. Like
it's adding additional harmonics on.
Yeah. Exactly. Rather than just like boosting what's there almost, So really, really great tools. And it's cool to have, I think Dark Glass are the right company to have done something like this. It fits in with their product portfolio. With that kind of sound, it's cool. You can blend between the compressed signal and the normal one as well. So it's cool. I'd say it's not an essential pedal for most, but it's a really, really cool one. And it's got built-in cab sims and stuff as well, which I didn't expect. You can change like into the mode. So whether you've got a blue and a red mode. So it's whether the order of the chain, basically, as you can see here, on the screen. It's very, very nerdy, this pedal.
It is a nerdy pedal, isn't it? Which is interesting because a lot of Dark Glass stuff, you can kind of figure it out immediately. And go, oh, this is this, okay. Whereas this is almost like but what is this doing again? Like, what am I doing?
Yeah, do I do what? Do I need this? But yeah, it's cool. I'm kind of here for this. I'd love to hear what it sounds like. I don't know if I would put this I suppose you could put it at the end of your signal as like to tidy everything up.
This screams front of the chain to me.
Well, that's what my initial thought was. But their idea here is, because it's got built-in cab sim and a DI out, is to put it at the end.
Well, I suppose you could like go in at the front of the chain and then it's like you're taking a DI signal and then we'll move on into like drives and amp sims and stuff.
Yeah, but then do you want cab sim on your DI out of just
well then
that?
Some people will, because they'll want like a clean sound, but still with a cab sim. It's a tricky one. You know what this could have potentially benefited from?
What's that?
An effects loop.
Oh yeah, that would have been cool, wouldn't it?
And then you could use like the app to move where you want the effects loop digitally in the chain, because then you could have like I don't know, like some sort of drive pedal that you like imagine something like this, and then in the effects loop is like the Origin Effects bass rig.
Yeah.
And that's doing all your like preamp and drive kind of sounds. Then it comes back into the pedal.
Yeah.
A little bit of basic EQing if needed, and then hits a cab sim and goes out. But this luminal booster is doing like the EQ, the compression, the sort of harmonic magic.
Yeah.
That would be quite cool.
Do you know what they need to do? I think that they should bring out a new version of the element, the cab sim element. I've got it on my board at the minute, but one thing that I think would be cool is to have. I'm going to get another pedal up a minute. So this is the Jad Freer Audio Capo. Actually, no. Yes, it's the Capo. This is the Tim LaFleur version, but I want to talk more about the normal version. Essentially, what this is just a preamp pedal. It's like 3 preamps in one, but you've got really interesting routing options with 2 DIs on the back. One is just a direct bypassing everything, and then one is after the preamp, basically. So you can have a totally clean DI and a DI out from this. And then you've got like 2 loops on the side, one that is a loop before the preamp and one that is a loop after. So how I've got this routed on my pedal board at the minute is I've got the DCX bass and a compressor going into the loop before the preamp. Then I've got after the preamp all my drive circuit, and then it goes into a cab sim. So it's acting like an amp at the end of the chain. But I can put drives before the chain if I want to, like in this bit. And it acts as like the central hub and have a clean DI if I want. So it acts as a central hub in the board. And I think Dark Glass should jump on and do something like this. You know, with their amazing cab sim library, have that be the end of the chain, and you have it with and without, you know, and you can select all of that. I think this kind of thought made me think about where things are placed, and that having that effects loop is kind of like what this is doing. So I think that would be very cool.
Yeah, I think that could be really cool. But yeah, it's interesting. Like, it's kind of the same as the Nano Cortex. I can see a use for this. I do not have that use.
No.
Boring. What is next? Because I'm just thinking about the time. You know, do we have a lot left to cover?
We're going to power through these next ones. Here we go.
Right, let's power through. Don't let me speak.
Fender have also released some new Japanese-made sand-blasted basses. So all in black. Oh, God, it's not loading. Here we go. We've got this all-new black jazz bass for $1,120. Doesn't that look good? Yummy.
Looks pretty cool.
Yeah, big fan of that. Japanese-made. Woof. Very good. Everything that you'd expect, just with a textured finish and all in black. We love it. Similarly, to celebrate Thoman's 70th anniversary, Sandberg have released some basses. This one is the Electra. The first time that they've done like the full California bass, but it made in Indonesia. And that is a looker.
That's cool. That makes the bass we just looked at look like crap.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it? Like, this looks so much nicer, and these basses are phenomenal. I can't see a switch. I hope there's a switch to turn this into a or split this, or maybe one of these pulls out. That would be the pièce de résistance on this bass, because the California ones of these, they're so good. The TT that I've played, but the TM is what, you know, with the humbucker instead. I am just going to quickly look over this to see if you can. And this tells me nothing. Brilliant. Thank you. But yeah, really, really cool. That's £760. So
not bad.
Not bad for bad. What that is. Yeah.
You know,
these are all
but
they're constructed and checked over in Germany, bit like the import range of Dingwalls. So you're getting that better quality control. They have done a full fat German one, which I don't actually think looks quite as nice and is like £1,000 more.
It doesn't, does it?
No,
interesting.
No, not really. Oh, but interestingly, this does have a little switch. So
maybe that's what you're. Yeah,
what I'm talking about. It does look better.
They've pulled an iPhone Pro on you.
Yeah,
you want that sweet third lens, bro. It's going to cost you a bit more.
Yeah, sorry about that, but yeah, I can't confirm that, but I imagine that's what it is.
I think your theory is correct.
Yeah. We're going to head over now to Schecter, which have been making some moves recently. They've announced a load of new basses and some familiar ones coming back.
Uh-oh.
This is a familiar one that's come back, and I was like, yes, they're bringing it back. Oh, no. Get your eyes on this.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So the Stargazer is essentially their modern Rickenbacker. It's similar shape. Yeah, well, that's what it's meant to be.
Is it? Okay, right.
But woof. What a dog. I mean, the binding looks nice. Like,
Are you using the term woof as a positive or negative adjective?
Here, it can be used as both. All right.
Okay.
But it depends on how you're saying it. Like, if I saw, you walking by in the street, I'd be like, oh, woof, look at that guy, But if you're like, oh, Woof.
Okay.
Saying about something. It's bad, all right? I'm saying it like,
Yeah,
what a
this
dog.
thing is well ugly.
Look at that scratch plate. Oh,
Look at where that neck pickup is.
oh, so bad.
It's
Like,
on the fretboard.
yeah, I can't imagine this sounds good.
I mean,
at
it
all.
might do, but I don't think it would. I don't want to talk about this very often. This is
No,
for long. This is ugly. Like,
no.
I'm really, and I like a weird looking bass. Don't get me wrong, but like this is grim.
Look, it's got a mini toggle for the bridge pickup, so you can have it series, split, parallel, and then a two-way control for the neck coil tap. So loads of controls. I love this control layout. I think this is great, but the rest is just so ugly. My God, they do it in white as well, which if it was cream, it would be better, but that is so smelly. Oh, too much. Woof.
It looks, it's kind of like, it's giving me like Kiss vibes.
Yes, exactly. When they've
But not in a
gone,
good way.
no, it would just need like a floral inlay or like something crazy going on the inlay to be a really
Yeah.
stinky signature model.
Yeah,
and do you
does give off that like smelly signature guitar model vibe.
want to see the best thing about it?
No.
So it comes in a left string, God,
A left string.
a left-handed version, and I know you are asking for this. It comes in as a 12 string as well. Look at that! Look at the back of that headstock.
Ah! No!
Just broken, Chris.
I don't want to be here anymore.
Yeah, woof.
Oh god, it's just that's just possibly one of the that's when we do our best and worst of the year. This is down there. Absolutely.
100%.
Please move on. Please.
Yep. Here we go. Okay. They also announced the Reaper, which I think is a new one for them. I've not seen before.
Oh, I'm not interested.
No.
What in the 2006 Washburn is this? Look at that reverse headstock. No,
with a 5-string. I don't hate a reverse headstock, but
I know neither do I.
not,
But it doesn't look good here.
this is not it, and it's got that that horrible 5-string thing where they do on a P bass pickup. Woof. Where it's like it's just not right.
The fifth
like
string
it.
is like is literally walking away from the coil magnet.
It's like, get me away.
Yeah. Of course, it's got 24 jumbo frets. Obviously,
Yeah. Is this a 35-inch scale? Fucking better be. Yeah, it is.
It's got to be. Okay.
Yeah.
Listen, if you buy this bass and then you get off stage at a gig and go, why don't women talk to me? Is it my jacket? I'll tell you right now, my guy, it's not the jacket.
No. You're stinking. You are stinking.
I'm upset. I think you might have spoiled my day.
Yeah, sorry about this. Schecter normally do good things.
Yeah, Schecter, you do good, but you're very inconsistent. This is gross. And also, I know this is a little thing. I want you to look at the inlays for a second and notice how from 0 to 9, basically, they're at the top closest to you. And then from the 12th fret onwards, they are higher up, towards the treble strings. Who at Schecter thinks that you see out of your eyes? Out of your fingers, I mean. Who at Schecter thinks you see out of your fingers? Like,
I know what you mean.
Why are they not just in the same place? The location of where those dots are does not make it easier for me to play it. I do not see out of my fingertips. Like, I hate that. That's like it's smelly. It's smelly. That's what it is.
Thank you for confirming.
Thank you.
I feel
This
seen.
person, if you buy this, I'm convinced you only listen to the first 3 Five Finger Death Punch albums.
Wow. That's a specific reference.
And I like those. I like those first 3 albums. In fact, no, I take it back. You only listen to everything after the 3rd Five Finger Death Punch album. And no one listens to those.
And it does come with a dark glass preamp.
Of course it bloody does.
Say no more.
And that's a good preamp, actually. That's the one in my ding wall. And it is actually a really good preamp. But this, No, be gone. Room 101. Out you go.
It gets a bit better, but
it?
still not quite. They've done a new version of the standard C4, which
That's miles nicer.
yeah, like this is stunning with the binding and the finish and the roasted. Oh yes. I wish that this was like the PJ standard Model T. If they did the Model T in this, I'd be all over it.
Kind of wish the headstock matched, and you know what? Controversial, you may disagree. Block inlays.
I think it'd be too much. I think you've got to keep it classy. Yeah.
Schecter, too much? No, I'm sorry. I don't really understand why you're saying that.
Like, look at that angle down here. That is nice. Although it does look like a block body.
I think
slab.
It might be. Yeah, which
if you're going, this is a modern sounding bass, so like, don't have a slab, please. They've also doing a 5-string, which the finish looks totally different, and it's got an awful headstock.
Wow, yeah, it does. Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah, I don't like 5 in a row. Not gonna lie.
No. Do you tend to find your back hurts afterwards?
But definitely. Not my back.
Something else.
Yeah.
Anyway.
And that oh wait, hang on, these are cheap. This is like 500 quid. That's a good price, isn't it? Yeah. Well, there we go. Well, Chris, that concludes all of the news.
Oh, good.
Do you feel there?
We got there in the end.
My camera's so dark now. The time has just the time's changed. It's the fucking...
I've noticed that you were really bright.
Wow.
Why have you not got your light on?
Well, I'm just because I thought, it's still light outside, so we go with the light. But now it looks like I've only got half a face.
Yeah, exactly. You literally look like a mysterious character that I will not
discover
until Act 3 of the movie.
Yeah. Do you know what? I'm not going to change it because I'll just change it. I might change it in post. Probably not.
If you want, in solidarity, I can. We can end the episode like this. I can't find the light switch. Where's the light switch?
Go into dark mode.
In solidarity.
That's better. That's better.
Yeah. Wow.
Before we finish, I do want to show this.
I can't see it. It's too dark.
Oh no. It's the last bit of
no one knows. No, you'll have to leave it. I'm sorry. No,
the last.
No.
The last bit
No.
of news is that the Antigua Squires have hit the shelves. Yeah, baby, they're here. Let's go. Let's finish up, shall we?
Yes.
Everybody, thank you so much for listening. If you want to tell us how we did or just spread the word about this podcast, you can do so by rating it 5 stars on your listening platform of choice, whether that be Apple or Spotify. You can give it a rating, and it helps us to do with algorithms and to reach more lovely people. You can also subscribe to us on YouTube, because this is a video podcast as well. For this, for these news episodes in particular, it's a bit better on the video because you can see what we're talking about, because I'm sharing my screen as we go through. So, it's normally a little bit better if you watch them as well. So definitely go and like the videos and subscribe on there. Said about following us on Instagram at In The Pocket Pod as well. And that is where you can find our individual accounts as well. Chris, where can people find you?
You can find me quite literally everywhere under That Guy on Bass. I did my first YouTube video, finally. I know. I think I've been saying to the lovely listeners of this podcast for the last year, I'll finally do one. I've finally done one. It's like a review / demo of the Rootmaster, the Evil 3500. I'm really happy with how it turned out. And if you want to check that out, that'd be very nice. There's already been loads of listeners who've come over and left a comment saying, I listened to the podcast and I've checked this out. It's really good. That's really nice. Give me a subscribe. Would really appreciate that. But yeah, That Guy on Bass everywhere. If I may, Johnny, I've got a quick shameless plug that I need to throw out really quickly. Mm-hmm. My band, Dirty Blonde, we have a new single coming out on the 7th of November. It's called Northern Twang. It's very good. Obviously, I have to say that. And if you could pre-save it, that would be very nice. So if one of us remembers, we'll put it in the show notes below. If we don't, just leave a comment saying, why have you not done that? And I'll send you the link.
Northern Twang, that's what I've got you saved as in my phone.
I really hope so.
Yeah. Nice.
Where can the good people find you before we go?
You can find me on Instagram at Jonny Dibble. You can find me on TikTok at Jonny Dibble Bass. You can find me on YouTube at Jonny Dibble. That's where you can find most of the stuff that I am doing on the interwebs. another shameless plug for me is you should go and click the link in my bio on my socials and go and check out Bass Review magazine. Because I am now a writer for said magazine, doing reviews and columns and things like that in each magazine that comes out every month. Print is back, baby.
Oh, yeah.
Having it in my hands and just being able to sit in bed and like read it is like so much more than like going on my phone and like just doom scrolling. Basically, like I've really enjoyed having a physical version that's like a task. It's like, right, here's my monthly bit of bass news and stuff that comes into my face, and then it makes my brain happy. So yeah, I would definitely recommend checking it out. Use the affiliate link in my bio so I can get a little kickback, and that would be cool. Once again, everyone, thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time.
Bye bye.